Hey guys, Everyday Kiwi Mama here. Bringing you along while I prep my chicken broth that we're going to use for chicken soup this week. Give me a second, I gotta put my apron on and I've noticed that it's just getting a bit long. So, let's get to it. Love this apron, my kids got it for me for Christmas last year. It's got a tui on it and it's so bright. So I love it, but since going primal, I've lost a fair whack of weight, which, you know, as a 41-year-old woman, can't really complain about that, can I? But for the first time in my life, I have to do my aprons up around the front, which I'd rather enjoy, and I have to kind of tuck it up at the same time. Okay, so, yes, I'm going to be talking in this video. I want to have a little bit of a chat, just couple of things that I want to tell you about what's happening with our family at the moment, and why I haven't posted for a little bit, and so yeah, let's get to it. Let me just grab the bones. I'm going to be putting the chicken broth in my this is my biggest stock pot. This is a Scam Pan pot. I've had this for nearly 2 decades, I reckon. I've had it for a bloody long time. My husband and I, before we got married, got this. So this is a 11-litre pot. I will put it in that. Let me just get my bones and then I will be back in a second. Okay, so I just picked up these chicken frames from Woolworths. They are $8.22, $8.32. So I'm just going to open this bag up and we will get these chicken frames, and I'll wash my hands really quickly and then I will talk with you. So just give me a second while I do this. Oh, that's a good amount. There's about 4 chickens in there. That's good. Okay. So I just tipped everything in there. I know you can't see me right now. Oh. Let me come back. I just tipped everything in there, including the liquid from the chickens, because it all cooks down. So that's a good amount of chicken. And this is going to make a really good chicken broth. Hang on. There are 5 frames in there. Bonus. Even better. Okay. So, let's talk. So I have been away for a little bit. There has been a reason I have been away for a little bit. I have been having issues. I've kind of talked about it before. I suffer from, when I was 11, I had Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a form of sort of polio, but for me it came through in my face. So most forms of polio happen in your arms and your legs and things like that. I had it in my face when I was 11. My whole face swelled up. It was moving down my neck. I couldn't talk. I couldn't, not really anyway. I had this constant smile. So it was just like I had a super swollen face. I'm just going to shut this fridge before it starts talking to me. Had a super swollen face, and my eyes were just puffy but shut, like they were kind of almost forced shut. So I was kind of looking with my eyes barely open when I was 11. And so I was in hospital for that. There was nothing they could give me for it. There was no treatment at that time. And it was really uncommon at that time here in New Zealand. That form of polio, of Guillain-Barré syndrome, had never been seen. You know, you kind of look at things like that and you think Bell's palsy, but they had tested for that and it wasn't that. And I was tested for the big 5 at the time, so motor neuron, because my maternal grandmother actually died of motor neuron when I was a year old. So they tested for motor neuron. They tested for, I can't remember. There was lots of things anyway they got tested for. But kind of within 6 months, I was back at school, able to do things again, but basically I've always lived with getting really tired and run down. I don't have a really great immune system because of that, so I you know, when the kids were little, I got everything. If they had a tummy bug, I got the tummy bug. If they had a cold and a little sniffly nose, I got it. So yeah, I really wish I had an iron stomach, but at that stage I didn't. But that was that. I should just talk and do this, and yes, I'm waving a knife around, and no, it's not very safe, but it's just me at home. So while I'm doing this, into my pot I am putting leeks, capsicums, because I've got a couple of them here. I've got some carrots that I just need to finish off. Going to be putting in some celery, and I think I have got a parsnip, or I'll open a bag with parsnip and chuck that in there as well. And I've got parsley as well, and then it will just be water and cracked pepper, so we'll do that. And some pepper that I'm going to grind, so we'll do that as we go. Anyway, fast forward to me turning 36ish, and I had just kind of gone out contracting. At that stage I'd been working full-time for like my whole career, since I'd left home, and for my whole life. Sorry, I'm just kicking the vegetables that I haven't put away yet. And I got my new contract, and I had been there working. And for those who are interested to know what I do, I trained as a Scrum Master working with Agile teams. I was a business analyst for 7 years, and then started working as a Scrum Master, Agile coach, whatever you want to call it, helping people with different Agile ways of working. I now have started my own business, so if you want to go and check out that channel, it's Wow Coach NZ, and you can sort of see what I do there, or you can see me on Instagram as well, Wow Coach NZ. I've got a lot more stuff happening on Instagram. I'm kind of in the process though of trying to get everything to be aligned, and I post there Monday to Saturday, so feel free to go and have a look. But I digress. So I started to work there, and I was kind of 3 months into this contract, and had cut down my working hours so that I was only doing Monday to Thursday. You know, I was working for myself, so I could kind of set my own contracts, and they were happy with it, the company I was working with. And I got really sick. Went to take the girls to school one day, and you know, they were both still at primary school at that stage. I think my oldest was only she was 9 or 10, so that meant that my youngest, if she was 10, my youngest was only 8 when this happened. And so they were both at primary school at the time. No, it must have been 9. So we're talking just after COVID. We're talking just after all of the things had happened. This is in 2021. And I ended up in bed for 3 months. And I had been seeing a specialist. And what had happened is that my Guillain-Barré syndrome, not caused by anything other than the fact that I was just getting older, my Guillain-Barré syndrome had relapsed, and it's only on one side of my face. It's not on the other side of my face. So I spent the 3 months in bed. I was on some pretty hard steroids because the specialist I was seeing, he was fairly certain it was Bell's palsy, but he was wrong. I knew it was Guillain-Barré syndrome. Again, I went through all the tests, getting tested for all of the top 5, top 7 at this stage now. I'm so thankful I don't have the motor neuron gene, so that hasn't come down through my mum's line, which I'm so thankful for. It is genetic, and it can be passed on. It's hereditary, so we don't have that. And if you're a medical person and you're watching this, and if I'm wrong, I'm really sorry. That was just the information that I've been given from my specialist, so I'm really sorry if I'm wrong. Anyway, fast forward, I wasn't really happy. My specialist had said, I don't know what's wrong with you, you're going to have to just live with it. And I went to my doctor, and I was in tears, and I said to him, I'm not willing to live with not knowing what the heck is going on with me. Get me to see somebody else. And so he did, and I saw a fantastic specialist in Cambridge. Cambridge is just another little town, although it's growing, here in the Waikato. And I went out there, and lo and behold, the specialist I saw said to me, "I remember you." And he said, "Did you go to Auckland when you were like a young girl?" And I said, "Yeah, I did." So we were living in Whangarei at the time, and I had to, because, you know, my former Guillain-Barré syndrome had never been seen in New Zealand before, I had to go to Auckland, and there were a bunch of neurologists there, that specialists there, and they had video conference with some neurologists from the States, and that's how they were able to determine what my diagnosis was. And he at the time was one of the specialists, one of the neurologists that were there. He was really new in his career, and he remembered, and we're talking 26 years prior, he remembered my case, and it blew my mind. But you know, he took the time to figure out what was actually wrong with me, and I was in tears the very first time I went to him because I was really struggling, and came out of that in tears, but in happy tears. Rang my dad straight away because, you know, he was really worried about me, and my parents couldn't come over to New Zealand. You know, at that stage when I got sick, they live in Australia, and they still had border control on. They couldn't fly over, and in New Zealand we had still kind of enforced it as well. Yeah, he told me that it is my Guillain-Barré syndrome, but it's not my Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's now a form of facial sporadicis, but it is neurological. And the reason it's only on one side of my face is because when I healed from the original bout of Guillain-Barré syndrome back in 2011, this side of my face didn't knit back together properly. So the nerves all died, and then they kind of reformed and rehealed, but this side didn't go back to normal. And so when I'm really tired, when I'm run down, when I'm exhausted, what happens is this side of my face swells up, my eye closes, I just have constant tears, my forehead all gets lifted up, which is weird. So it's like this up, down, up. And yeah, I can't, like, if you look at me now, it's kind of puffy, because I'm kind of just coming off like 3 or 4 days where I was like that, and it's, you know, due to the very first week of school holidays was super busy for us. We had lacrosse nationals, which my daughter took part in. She was in one of the Waikato under 15 teams. Her team won silver, which is awesome. So for somebody who's a lacrosse goalie, only been doing it for 7 months, super proud mama. And yeah, there'd just been so much on. We'd taken a trip down to see my in-laws in Taupo, and yeah, like just so much going on. And so I kind of just, the second week we kind of just hit pause, and I kind of slowed down, and then it all kind of hits me. So things take me a little bit longer. I was really tired. I'm making a lot of noise. I was really tired. Things take me a little bit longer, and I just didn't feel up to filming because my face was really bad, and I'm very aware of it, and it takes a lot for me to feel comfortable, which is really weird, and I have to get through that because I do a lot of filming and I'm on camera a lot for my job, so it's something I kind of have to get through. Give me a second, I'm just going to wash these carrots and I'll be right back. Okay, so where is it at? But oh yeah, so 36. I had a relapse, which is amazing. So, you know, as women, when we get to a certain time in our lives, for some it's in their 40s, anywhere from 40s on, we start to suffer from our bodies changing and our hormones changing and all that kind of thing. Well, I started going through, and for those of you who are not interested, please just fast forward. I hit perimenopause at 36. So I started to go through perimenopause at 37ish, and my hormone levels were changing, and that is the reason why my facial sporadicis has reoccurred. So there you go. I also, one of the other things that I have is I have a little bit of a heart problem. Sometimes my heart kind of just speeds up for no reason at all. That doesn't happen very often. That's all caused from the Guillain-Barré syndrome. It was known at the time. And I also get migraines. So not like a full-on migraine. I just get a moment where I get these flashes of light in my eye. It lasts about 20 minutes. That is all. And I have to sit down, and then I am exhausted for the rest of the day. And it normally comes on. I normally get one of those maybe once every 3 or so months if I'm really, really busy. But yeah, not fun. So yeah, if you would like to know more about my condition at all, just flip me a message. I can do an actual proper video about it. But yeah, luckily my girls don't have it. Again, it's a genetic thing. So luckily my kids don't have it. So I'm so thankful. I do watch them all the time because I do worry. As you know, people with ailments like this do. So that's kind of it. What else is happening? So kids went back to school this week after having 2 weeks off for school holidays. So glad that they've gone back. I do love them. I love having them around. It's just because, though, like I said, just because we've had such a busy couple of weeks and I was really tired, and I need to have that time where I can kind of slow down a little bit. So yeah, we've got that going on. Our eldest is, for the first time ever, doing lacrosse. So she's lacrosse right through. So she started in summer for her college, playing sixes, and then they went into their winter season in term 2 and 3, and then she did Waikato for under 15s, and now she's doing club. So club lacrosse starts for the summer season, starts this weekend. Yes, this weekend. On top of that, she also wants to learn how to umpire, and so does our youngest, who starts her lacrosse next week for her intermediate. So they are, after club this week, they're doing a clinic for learning how to umpire for the intermediate grade, and so both of the girls are going to be going to that. So we're going to have a full day of lacrosse tomorrow. So I'm going to be making cloud bread later, and I'll video that to show you, because we're going to be having chicken sandwiches tomorrow. But going in, so what have I put in there so far? I have done carrots, celery, leeks, capsicum, parsnip, and I've got some parsley. I do have parsley out in the garden, but it's not looking too healthy. So I'm just going to give this a wash. I think it's just got too wet during the winter. Just give this a wee rinse here. Oh, I just lost it all. Don't worry about me. You can probably hear me making lots of noises over here. Don't have a lot of room at the moment because somebody blew the fuses on the oven that things like the yogurt maker and the stock pot and the dishwasher plug into. So everything is sitting on the bench except for the dishwasher that's in front of me that's plugged into something else. So my other bench, that's my bigger bench, has got everything else on it at the moment, until my husband can get a fuse. Sort of thankful that he's an electrician and he can do all that kind of stuff and we don't have to pay for anybody to do it. Okay, I'm just gonna, there are some yucky bits on this, so we're just gonna cut off the yucky bits. But normally I just chuck it in stalk and all, but I'm not going to this time. Okay, and then, believe it or not, the last thing I'm actually going to add to it is spinach, which is on the table still. So I'm not washing this because it's already been washed. It might be weird that I'm adding spinach to it, but all good. We'll just add that much. And then I'm going to get down my mortar and pestle, which is not in that cup, it's in this one. Oh. Okay, and we're going to grind some. We're going to grind some peppercorns. And it's not many peppercorns, probably about, how much? Yeah, about that much. It's probably like a teaspoonful, if I'm honest. There you go, maybe 2. What can I say about this? I have been making my own chicken broth for years and years and years. I did stop for a while when I got sick and I couldn't do it. If I'm honest, until, you know, hitting perimenopause, I have been on a bit of a journey for the last 12 months. I had to, you know, I was really struggling with work. I was feeling anxious all the time. I was getting brain fog. I was just crying uncontrollably. Like, nothing had changed for me with the rest of my body, but it was just a nightmare. I was getting body aches and all that kind of stuff. So I am so blessed to have a wonderful friend who is like a sister to me, who said to me, you need to go and see a specialist. So I did. I went to see, if you're in New Zealand, they're a company called Minnow Doctor. They're based in Tauranga, but they do virtual consults as well. So I booked some time with her, with my doctor, Dr. Larice. She's amazing. We had a huge conversation. I am on estrogen patches. I know there's some controversy out there when it comes to patches. Well, all I want to say about it is do your research. I did so much research, and for me, the benefits outweigh the things that could potentially go wrong. Look, it doesn't happen for everybody. Patches have changed and they've come a long, long way. In my mum's year, like with my mum, when she was starting to go through all this kind of stuff, patches were a no-go. They always said don't do it because of all of the bad shit that they put in it, but they just don't have that anymore. So, yeah, patches, progesterone, so much better. I feel so much better. I'm so thankful for this. So, yeah, we then decided maybe, because, you know, having all the steroids that I had to take when I first relapsed with my face, they stripped away all my gut and have caused me nothing but problems when it comes to diet. So we decided as a family that for me to be able to support me, and so I didn't have to make separate meals, we were all going to go to this healthier way of eating. We kind of have gone with the Primal Blueprint with Mark Sisson. Again, I've done a huge amount of research to see if it would be beneficial to us, and it really has. Like, our diet is predominantly fruits and vegetables and meat. There is nothing really packaged. Like, if you watched my grocery haul from today, you'll see I got that salami and I went through to check the ingredients on there. Like, we make a yogurt that goes for 36 hours in our yogurt maker, and it is the best thing ever. And it all has so much good gut health stuff for me. And I was suffering with indigestion and all sorts of stuff, and my husband was suffering with things too. And honestly, since we did that, since we dropped all the carbs, so we don't have rice, pasta, flours, anything like that, no grains whatsoever. I do have seeds. So we have seeds and we have some nuts, but we don't have all the nuts because, like, we don't eat peanuts. We don't like Brazil nuts or pistachios. We don't like pistachios either. No chickpeas, anything like that, because they're all of that is bad for my gut. But since we started going down that path, I have felt so much better. So yeah, that's the reason why. And so since then, I've found that I've had more energy, and I've gone back to making my own broth. I used to make it by the barrel load, and I would freeze it, and then we'd have it all in the freezer. Sorry, just stop while I did that. I just kind of lightly ground those. They're not fully ground, but they're kind of just lightly ground. You can kind of see that. I did used to toast them, but honestly, it doesn't matter. We're going to put some salt in there as well. And then I will fill that up with water. I'm going to have to take it out to the tub to fill it up with water. But let me just finish my conversation and then I'll fill it up with water and end it there. But yeah, since I started to take, since I changed my diet, since we did all of this stuff, I've been feeling so much better. I am just going through the journey of, as females as well, we have testosterone. If you didn't know that, I've just learned that recently. It's different to men, but it all helps with hormones too. So if you're on your perimenopause journey, go and do your research and see how much testosterone can be beneficial to you too. I have just been doing so much research and I'm hopeful that it could potentially help with trying to calm this side of my face down, because testosterone has neurological benefits as well, and it helps your mind, and it also can reduce your chances of getting breast cancer, things like that as well. So I've been researching all of this stuff. I'm going to start hopefully going down that journey. We'll see very soon. But I have friends that are already on that journey and have been feeling so much better. So if you're a woman who is hitting midlife, so if you're a woman in your 40s, go and you're struggling with body aches and you're struggling with brain fog and you're emotional and you've got anxiety and your ears are ringing and you've got hair loss and there's all these things, go and Google all of the symptoms for women who are in perimenopause. Honestly, it will blow your mind. And then find yourself an amazing specialist. And I'm saying a menopausal specialist because our doctors, no matter what part of the world you're from, they can't specialize in this kind of thing. But doctors should be able to support you. But we should be advocates for our own health as well. So yeah, if you do that, good luck, go and do that. So thank you for joining me as I prep my chicken broth for chicken soup. I know that this has been a bit of a conversation. I just kind of wanted to share a little bit more about what we've going on and why I've been away. But yeah, thank you if you've stayed to the end of this video. Please like and subscribe. It helps us. I am doing my own business, but we're kind of on one income because I have to kind of get my name out there. I'm not coaching at the moment. So I'd love for you guys to keep joining us on this, or joining me on this journey. You'll only ever see me in videos, not the rest of my family. This is my endeavor, not theirs. So this just helps me to get more comfortable in front of the camera for my own business as well. But this is kind of my side hustle. So yeah, please like and subscribe. I would be ever so grateful if you do enjoy my comment, if you do enjoy my content, leave me a comment, please. Tell me where in the world you're tuning in from. I'd love to know. Otherwise, I will leave you to it. Have a great rest of the day and see you next time, guys. Bye.